With Pete Mackanin as Phillies manager, here's a look at 10 candidates who could potentially fill the job. These are in no particular order. Dusty Wathan managed pretty much all of the Phillies' young players at AA and AAA, and could serve as the steward of this youth movement. He was the manager of the year at AA reading in 2015, where he eventually became the winningest manager in team history. He took over as manager at AAA this season with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, and has joined the Phillies staff in the big leagues this September. Brad Ausmus, like Phillies GM Matt Klentak, Ausmus Dartmouth has an Ivy League background. Ausmus managed the Tigers from 201,417, compiling a record of 313,330th. The Tigers won 90, 74 and 86 games in his first 3 seasons, before tearing it down this season. Ausmus, 48, fits the mold of the young, good-looking manager. Much more on that here that major league teams are hiring these days as the face of their franchise. Joe McEwing, a Bristol, Pennsylvania native and former big league utility-man, McEwing is considered a managerial prospect. He spent 201,216 as the White Sox third-base coach, and was their bench coach this season. Buck's show alternate an interview goes by where Phillies president Andy MacPhail doesn't mention his respect for Showalter. The two shared some history in the Baltimore Orioles organization. The Phillies have plenty of Orioles roots in their front office with MacPhail, Klentak and assistant GM Ned Rice. Showalter currently manages the Orioles and is under contract through the end of 2018. David Ross has joined the broadcasting world in his first year of retirement after winning a World Series with the Cubs. Has been a fan favorite and leader at every stop, and he too fits the mold of young, recently retired former player that teams are going after as managers. Ross is regarded as a great communicator and could be an interesting out-of-the-box consideration. Mark McGwire, another outside-the-box candidate. McGwire has paid his dues in recent years on the coaching staffs of the Dodgers and Padres. Controversy obviously followed McGwire in his final days as a player, but he showed some character by coming clean when many players did not. Has got presence, has a good baseball man, and has someone the Phillies' young hitters could relate to and truly respect. Ruben Amaro Jr. He just won a division as part of the Red Sox coaching staff, and he made it clear, when he signed on to be their first-base coach, that he had desires to manage someday. He will get his chance eventually, though it probably won't be here just a few years after he was replaced as GM. Juan Samuel is on the Phillies coaching staff, which could look completely different in 2018. He was one of only 2 men to receive an interview the last time the Phillies had a managerial opening. Mackanin was the other. Samuel has a long history with MacPhail and has been a key mentor to the Phillies' large group of young Hispanic players. Jorge Valenti, a former MLB utility-man who has worked on and off the field in the Phillies system, has the GM for La Guera in the Venezuelan Winter League, and is a key individual in the Phillies' Latin American development. Dave Martinez, a popular name lately. Whenever a managerial opening arises, Martinez has had success as Joe Maddon's bench coach with both the Rays and Cubs, 2 analytically inclined organizations. OTHERS Ron Gardenhire will be a name you'll hear around these parts this fall, but it's hard to envision the Phillies going the route of a traditional older experienced manager, given their front office, their priorities and the recent developments around baseball. Joey Cora is another managerial prospect to keep in mind. He spent this season as the Pirates' third-base coach. Tim Boger is another name to consider, and another managerial prospect often mentioned when teams have a vacancy. He's currently the Seattle Mariners bench coach, and he also has experience as a minor league manager, a major league interim manager, 2014 Rangers, and a front office executive.